Hello friends, Anthony here. So as many of you know, I have spent a lot of time over the last year working out solos note by note. Really difficult solos. In the comments section of one of these solos, somebody asked for tips on how to work these solos out. So I decided to go ahead and make a video talking about 7 tips to work out very difficult solos. Before I move on, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to have more and more videos like this, tutorial videos, as well as those demonstration videos where I'm playing solos, and stuff concerning my book, Manifesting Minutiae. So before I get to the tips, I'm just going to tell you that this is geared towards people who are using videos to work out these solos, specifically like YouTube videos of whatever, your favorite player, you see a solo, I like that solo, so you get the video, you watch it, boom, you're watching this YouTube video, and you work the solo out by watching what they're doing. I'm just assuming that you are using, that you're slowing the video down to 50% speed. If you're on YouTube, make sure you know that you can slow a YouTube video down to 50% speed. It's called their 5HTML player. If for some reason your computer isn't running the 5HTML player, go online and figure out how to update it so it is. I think most new computers are automatically running the 5HTML player on YouTube. Then you can slow it down to 50% or even 25% speed. The other option, of course, is Soundslice, Adrian Halavati's website. Really great. That one you can actually, some of the videos will have tab already there. Some of them will have some tabs, some of them have the whole thing tabbed out. Very cool resource as well. Now, moving on. Tip number 1, play the rhythm part over the solo. This is very, very important thing to do, I've found, and it's something you'll do at the beginning. You'll do several times over the process of you learning this solo. It helps with timing. It helps make sure you know exactly what chord is being played at any given time, which can help you understand a phrase, which will help you learn a phrase. If you understand what's going on, oh, it's an A7 chord right here, and he's doing something like, right? You'll realize, oh, okay, he's doing something around that A7 arpeggio because it's an A7 chord. Sometimes it's timing, especially when these guys do chord stuff where they're like suddenly going, things like that. If you play the rhythm in the background, you'll find it really helps you understand timing. I recommend that as tip number 1. Once again, play the rhythm over the solo. Okay? All right, tip number 2, learn the solo phrase by phrase. Now, phrase is like a sentence, a musical sentence. Okay, so that was like a little musical sentence. Okay? So when you're watching these solos, you're going to see it's like a lot of stuff going on. So you just got to take a deep breath and break it down phrase by phrase and watch for those little pauses. And what I mean by phrase is that watch just that much. Watch the phrase and watch the phrase again, watch the phrase again, watch the phrase again. Until you're sort of familiar with the phrase, general idea, and then take it 2 to 3 notes at a time. Now, tip number 3, perfect the solo in phases. So let's look at a scale between 1 to 10. So 10 is you've got the solo down perfect, or you've got a phrase down perfect. Start by learning the first phrase at, I would say, about a 5. Make that your goal. And the 5 is basically like you can play it, you kind of got it in your fingers, and as long as you keep playing it, you won't forget it for a couple hours, right? So you learn the first phrase as a 5, and then you move on to the next phrase, and you learn the next phrase as a 5, and then you go back and you play the first phrase and the next phrase again. So you go back to the beginning and play all the way up to the point you got to. And then you learn the third phrase. Get it to about a 5, go all the way back to the beginning, play it all the way to the point that you're at right now, and continue that process until you finish the entire solo. That's the way I like to do it, because what happens, as you may guess, is that every time you go back to the beginning and play the whole solo again, you're getting a little better at each phrase that you learned along the way. So then by the time you finish the whole solo, some of it you might already have up to full speed. Tip number 4, flub your way through the exceedingly difficult parts. / don't let them slow you down. Okay? So the book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance talks about gumption stoppers. He says it takes gumption to do something like learn a guitar solo. And a gumption stopper is something that takes away your momentum, the head of steam you have going that stops it in its tracks, right? Like a gumption stopper is a very difficult part of the solo. That's a gumption stopper, that very difficult part that you're like, I have to become a better guitar player in order to learn this part. Well, what I do during those parts is I flub my way through them. I kind of fake it. You know, when I'm going back to the beginning and playing the whole solo up to the point that I know it, when I get to that hard part, I sort of fake my way through it. And then each time. And then what'll end up happening is over time, you'll get better and better at it and you won't be faking as much. And let's say that hard part, you're having trouble conceptualizing it, not just playing it, but to where you can't really understand what's going on. So even at slow speeds, you can't play it. What'll also happen is over time, as you flub your way through it and see it over and over again, you'll start to hear it. You'll start to hear it and suddenly you'll be like, oh, it's not that crazy after all. And then next thing you know, you'll pretty much have it, right? All right. Tip number 5, when in doubt, use your ears. What I have found in every solo, you're going to find this, there's going to come a part of the solo where what you're seeing does not jibe with what you're hearing. It doesn't match what you're hearing. And you'll get frustrated. You'll be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm hearing something, but it's not what I'm seeing. And what I'm trying to do, based on what I'm seeing, is, you know, not matching what I'm hearing. It usually only happens a few times, but it does happen pretty much in every solo. You will come across something like that because you're slowing these down to 50% speed, which means there's going to be a slight delay. It's not going to be perfect. Okay? In those cases, trust your ear. Close your eyes, hear it. Hear it, hear it, and hear it. And then try and play it based on what you're hearing, because that's where the answer is. What you're seeing is going to trick you, because it's not perfectly lined up with what's being played. It's not perfectly synced up. There's going to be a slight bit of delay one way or another. Okay? So that's that. Tip number 6. Download the video's audio as an MP3 onto your desktop. So what you're going to find is when you've got the whole solo down, let's say you've got the whole thing down at 50% speed, 50% speed is really slow. At that speed, at least I've found, it's hard to play the solo without watching the person playing the solo at the same time, or hearing the person playing the solo at the same time. In order to get to the point where you can play the solo without hearing the person play it, without syncing along with them, in order to get to that point, you're going to need to get the solo up to 75 or 80% speed, is my experience. It's really hard. I don't know why, but it's hard to play them without hearing the solo synced up when you're only at 50% speed. And what ends up happening is that makes it really hard to speed the solo up, because you've got 50% speed on YouTube and then 100%. You've got no in between. You've got no 60, 70, 80. So what you do is you download the YouTube video's audio as an MP3. It's really easy. Just go onto Google and go YouTube video to MP3. And there'll be a website that'll automatically do it for you, and it'll give you a file to download to your desktop. Then you take that MP3 and you play it through Transcribe or Amazing Slowdowner. I'm assuming you have one of these. If you don't, you're going to have to get either Amazing Slowdowner or Transcribe. They're great programs. You can take any audio and slow it down 90%, 80%, whatever, 95%, all these increments. So you download the solo, you have the solo, you only have the audio, but at this point you don't need the video anymore because you at least know it by ear now. You download the audio, you practice it at 60% speed, and then at 65% speed, and then you on transcribe, and you slowly speed it up until you can get it, you know, hopefully up to full speed. Which brings me to tip number 7. Don't stress about being able to play at full speed. Okay? So keep in mind that unless you are practicing 7 hours a day, you are not going to be able to compete with the Adrian Monards and the Sebastian Gignot's and the, you know, the Yosho Stefans. I mean, granted, maybe they don't practice 7 hours a day now, but there was a time in their playing that they were, for maybe, who knows, 2 years or more, they were practicing 7 hours a day. They were practicing for hours and hours every day, and that's how they got that good. Yes, there comes a point where you get that good and you don't need to work that hard anymore, but very few of us have the time to put in 7 hours a day. I don't. I work for a living. I have a wife and a kid. I don't have time to practice 7 hours a day. The most recent one, Angelo DeBar, his solo, full speed was like 250 BPMs. And I never got it full speed. I recorded it at full speed on my play along, which was 220 BPMs, and that was challenging. So don't stress about having to have it at full speed. I would be happy with, you know, 80 to 85% speed, maybe even 90% speed, right? And because you're still going to get a lot out of it. You're going to get these phrase ideas and timing, and it's going to improve your technique just at getting it up to 85% speed, considering how fast a lot of these solos are. Okay, so that is it. Those are my tips. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments section below. Please subscribe to my channel. Buy my book, Manifesting Minouche, if you don't already have it. And yeah, have a great one.